Welcome everyone to day 3 of the manifesting challenge. Thank you so much for being here. It is such a joy and a thrill to share this with you. And I hope you're getting on well with your manifesting, with the exercises that we've been working on, and hope you're absolutely having fun with it as well, because that's one of the things that we need to be a really good manifester, is to have fun with it and to enjoy the process as well. Okay, so day 3, I want to talk about how to deal with obstacles, or how to deal with doubts and fears. Because usually, once you set your goal and you determine that you want it, one of the things that might come up is the fear or the actual obstacles. So, for example, if your goal was to buy a house, you might have the obstacle of the fact that you don't have a good credit rating, or you don't actually have the money for the deposit, or you spoken to the bank for a loan for your business and the bank have said no. So it might be real actual obstacles, or it might be just fears of thinking, what will my family think, or what will such and such think, or if I quit my job, what will my friends think? If I do this, how will I look? So, or it might be fears of, I don't know how to do it. So if you decide you, for example, want to go on a sabbatical for 6 months, it might be, how will I pay my bills? What will I do about such and such? So those are some of the things that you might face once you set your goal. Today on Instagram, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, please do. I have so much fun over there, and that's where I share most of my behind the scenes of my everyday life, and I share quite a lot about things I manifest, and yeah, so please join me. So I shared that one of the things that happened when I was starting to change my life dramatically was, I wanted to travel. I had the dream to travel and see different places. At the time, I was a full-time student living in probably one of the most disgusting and poorest parts of North London, and so I didn't know how to become a world traveler on a student's wage. I was working, but students in England usually are only allowed to work certain hours during the term, so there was not enough money for me to be a world traveler on my pay as a student. But I had the dream to, I think the first big dream was to go to Brazil and see my two best friends, so, but I didn't know how. So what I did was I printed a picture of Sugarloaf Mountains, and that's the view you can see when you're standing on Christ the Redeemer statue. And I then printed pictures of the two best friends. I put all 3 of them on my vision board, and I put copies of them in my dream book. And I used to look at my vision board every single day. I used to look at my dream book a couple of times, so when I wasn't at home, I would take it with me, and just to keep those dreams alive within me. And at the time, I didn't try to think of how to do it, and from what I can remember, the resistance didn't come up but I would look at them and I would feel joyful about knowing that it was going to happen. The dream did eventually happen, and I ended up going to Brazil for 3 weeks over a Christmas period, and I had such a good time, and that just started my growth journey from that point on to where I was now, just became a regular traveler and achieving more goals regularly and all the time. So all this to say that when you set the goal and resistance comes up, now in this particular goal I did not have any resistance. But you will set a goal sometimes when the resistance comes up. So what do you do? How do you overcome this? If we go back to the example we talked about on day 2, where the pilot decides where they want to go, and when they start flying, sometimes there might be turbulence, sometimes there won't, but other times there might be, and they have to work against the wind and against the conditions and things like that. But they're still determined that they are going to get to their destination, and they still forge ahead and go to their destination. So what you want to do when resistance comes up, when fear comes up, when you don't know how, is to just keep saturating yourself with your goal. So in my case, for example, I believe that the fact that I had that goal before me all the time on my vision board, in my vision book, that I was saturating my mind with the reality of being there, and that kind of put me at peace and brought a joy within me, whereby I didn't have to worry about the how. I was actually approaching the goal from the reality of already being there. And that is like an easy state to be. You don't need anything to happen to physically think about something. I don't need to go on a plane in order for me to physically imagine myself in Bali or in London or wherever. I'm just going to read a quick line from this book, Your Faith is Your Fortune, and it will explain a little bit further on what I am saying. This is based on the story of Joshua, which is a story in the Bible. So basically, this guy Joshua was a leader, and he and the group that he was leading were meant to capture a city. And what needed to happen was that that city wasn't theirs. They just needed to take ownership of it. And so this is where we're gonna pick up the story. So there were barriers, and in his case, it was the fact was that it wasn't their city. The city already had occupants, and so those were his barriers. Okay. So regardless of the physical barriers separating you from your objective, you can, without effort or help of anyone, annihilate time, space, and barriers. So you can dwell psychologically in the desired state. And although you may not be able to tread physically upon a state or city, you can always tread psychologically upon a desired state. So you feel that you're in such a place of state, and when you're in this condition, it becomes so real that the dream becomes so real that when you open your eyes, you're actually surprised that you're not there. And what does it mean? It means that you do not need to have physical changes before you can have that experience of living in your dream in your mind. And that is all you need to keep going in your mind, keep walking in the places that you want to walk in your mind. If you want to manifest a house, you want to constantly maybe have a picture on your vision board, or journal about the house, journal about the experiences of being in a house. Is see yourself in your mind's eye touching the objects in the house, touching the kitchen counter, touching the sink, washing fruit in the sink, feel the cold water from the tap running on your hand. Just you do not need anything to move in the physical realm in order for you to do that. So this is how you whenever objections come up, whenever fear comes up, you want to refuse to go down that hole of thinking about the fear, and just get in touch with your dream, get in touch with what it is that you want. And you can also journal about this by writing about the opposite of what you're feeling. So if you're, for example, constantly feeling like no one is going to approve me for the loan, you can journal the opposite of write things like, I'm so happy and grateful I got approved for the loan. I'm so happy and grateful that I now have the money. I'm so happy and grateful that I was able to do the bake sale and sell out of all my cupcakes, and now I have so many orders. Whatever it is, you can make your brain think the opposite of what it is that is coming up or that is showing up. So use that thoughts, the negative thoughts, as feedback of what it is that you would like to change, and you keep touching your dream. Keep touching your dream in your mind, in your feelings, and it is inevitable, guys. It will come to pass. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I am just so excited to see you on tomorrow's video. And yeah, happy manifesting. Have fun with it. Comment below and let me know how you're getting on, how you're enjoying this. So the exercise for today is to go in your mind in the place that you would like to go physically. Experience it in your mind first and keep doing that until we get on the next lesson. Okay, sending you lots of love and happy manifesting. Bye.